Vegan versus plant-based diet. That was a next idea that was given for doing a video. Now, the interesting thing is, although this was a keyword given, vegan is a plant-based diet. So what might the thought process have been here as it relates to what the person was trying to get at?
As far as diet is concerned, they're the same. But vegan properly, it means that you don't do anything with animals at all. You don't wear animals. You don't harm animals. And so there is a difference there. But it's possible they may have meant like vegan versus vegetarian. That is different.
So then what is a vegan versus a vegetarian? How do we distinguish between the two?
Sure. So vegan versus vegetarian is basically vegetarians will use dairy and vegans don't. That's one of the biggest things.
And I would probably expand that dairy statement, which is true, to animal byproducts. That can include dairy, often does, but it can also include honey. Now, there are vegans, my wife and I are both of them, or two of them, I'm not sure if that do actually eat honey. Okay. But what our whole focus is to get as close as possible to garden-based, as in the Garden of Eden-based living and whatnot. Now, are we there? No, we're not there. We've made some good steps, but we're not at that point. What's anyone else's other thought related to vegan versus plant-based diet?
Well, again, that's a learning process because nutrition is just a huge topic that can go on for infinity because there's just so many nuances about nutrition. So the lifestyle in that area is going to be constantly growing and changing and learning.
And if you want the best health benefits, a pure, strict vegetarian diet, which would be the diet part of the vegan term, would be the best health benefits. And so when you go to the store, or if you're looking to switch, some people do, to transition, they do go to the store and look for some more vegetarian type meat options. Then you want to see if it's vegan or plant-based or vegetarian. Sometimes they do use milk and eggs as part of making it.
So that actually brings up interesting conversation as well, and that is within the process of converting from meat to a non-meat diet. There's often these packages and whatnot that have different meatless type situations and whatnot. Those packages, they are good for a temporary purpose. Unfortunately, lots of people use them more as a permanent replacement, and that's not what they were intended for when they were created, but rather a stepping stone away from. Because if you're eating the processed meats that are not meat, well, then you've still got a problem, and it's called processed meat, even if it's non-meat. So any thoughts on that as we come to a close?
Well, the processed meat actually takes just as long to digest as what a steak does. So it is just a stepping stone because you just got rid of all the hormones and the diseases that come with eating the animal itself.
And go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that there are some different ways that that if you make your own, that you can kind of skip some of that stuff. And there are recipes out there if you're interested, and YouTube videos for sure.
So how would I go about finding one of those?
Do you want specific recommendations for them, or?
So I mean, what would I look up, I guess, is what I'm saying. What would be a search concept that I might use to find what you're talking about there?
So one thing that you can find pretty easily if you look up tofu recipes, and so tofu is something that is made from the soybean, and so or else if you look up something, it doesn't sound nice, but it's called seitan, Seitan. It's not the Satan that we know, but or that we know of, but it's seitan, and that's actually a meat that's made out of wheat. Now, if you're gluten intolerant, then that's not going to be a good option for you. But there are also other ways that you can make certain meaty type, protein foods from beans, legumes, also from mushrooms. Those are all different ways that you can try to make something that is kind of like a meat product that you might have been used to before, but not. It's plant-based.
So let's go ahead and draw this to a close. One last comment.
There was actually one of our famous cooks on YouTube, and he stated that,
Are you referring to Mark Anthony?
no, I'm not. He's actually a meat and potato man.
Okay.
And he says, I'm going vegan. And he gets an eggplant out, and he went through a whole bunch of different things that were quite interesting, and it did very much look like a steak, and he dressed it up like a steak and all that. At the end, he said, for this meal.
There you go. All right. Well, that's our information as it relates to this. And we hope you enjoy our information related to vegan versus plant-based diet.